All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for the grand finals of the Advanced Division. I'm Mr. Leapfrog. Joining me tonight, Calavera. How's it going, girl?
It's going good. I'm really excited to get into this finals here. I know I've only gotten the chance to cast one other twist that we had, but getting into now the final stage of our advanced teams as well, coming down to Tidal X and Bomb Pop Ballers Meltdown. I mean, this is going to be exciting. It seems like it's also pretty tied in the series, given that they've both gone like 4-1 in the series. So we'll see who's going to take like this final one, pretty much.
Yeah, it all comes down to one final match between the two. You can see the rosters. One of our fellow commentators with Denji rocking the tank role on Tidal X. I got to root for him a couple times on a CGL league, so it's nice to see him, cross-contaminating across all the leagues, but still being one of the annoying tank players you have to deal with. He's very, very good. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I mean, obviously, he's got to be an analyst up here on the mic, so got to have a lot running along in his mind.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like with, I believe, tank roles as well, or tanks in general. I think they are right now kind of the stars of the show when it comes to Overwatch, because there is a lot of pressure considering that most people favorably like to play the 5v5, given how in Overwatch 1 it was 2 tanks you have, but now that there's only one, it's really a lot of pressure that Denji, or however on the other side as well, Koi it looks like, and maybe even another player they have who seems like to have a flex as well, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see which ones they want to actually pull up. They have a million players at their disposal.
Okay.
But, as you already mentioned before, they have a very similar style of standings. They both went 4-1 in the actual Swiss matches itself. Both of them looked. I mean, exactly the same in terms of map differential as well. They both went plus 10. They both did very, very well. But oddly enough, Tidal X actually did lose to Bomb Pop Ballers in the upper finals of playoffs. So now they get their run back.
Yeah, it's going to be a very defining moment now that this is going to hypothetically be like the third game now, or excuse me, the second game that they play that kind of really decides this time. Like, okay, was it just kind of a one-time thing, or are we going to be able to adapt and turn things around this time around here? And yeah, I mean, that was an interesting point that you brought up, Leapfrog, just because, they've fought once beforehand. I mean, who knows how it's going to turn out this time around, especially in the finals, too.
Yeah, so now it's going to be a 1-4 situation. So now they have a little bit more time to breathe, a little bit more time to adapt. And as you can see with the actual map set itself, Ilios is going to be map number 1. So I really like this map, both aesthetically and in terms of composition-wise, because you can play all sorts of different comps into it.
Yeah, I also really love this map a lot. I think aesthetically is something I think a lot of people could agree on. This map is just bright and beautiful, lots of colors and everything. But it could also be a disaster in some cases, given that there's a lot of vulnerability spots on the different maps of Eloise. So as we're also like going in with the bans and stuff, it's gonna play into the a lot of that, like how much value certain characters are gonna get or not on this specific map. And with the 2 bans right away, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. No Lucio and no Roadhog.
Well, it was obviously synonymous with this map. With everybody was expecting either a Roadhog to try to hook people in the hole, or Lucio to find some sort of type of environmental kills. And you already alluded to how strong certain characters are on this particular map, and we just get rid of both of them. So we're gonna have to see if environmentals still become a factor in this next match. I know Jetpack Cat's still on the playing field. I do hear a little whisper from Layla about potential Pharah being played on this map. So the environmentals are still in play, but obviously, not as prominent as we'd like to hope.
Yeah, not as brutal at least, because given with again Lucio and Roadhog, those are the very prominent picks and more common picks you see on these maps. But both teams are now going to have to get a little more creative if they want to fish for these environmental kills, or if they want to go straight for power, or maybe some more leniency, maybe something as well that messes a bit with infrastructure, May walls could probably be a point here. It all just depends on what they want to set up shop here.
Now we have to play legitimate Overwatch now? Golly. Couldn't torch me like that, son. No, these teams really have been grinding hard. I mean, I know it's been a pretty long season. We're obviously here at with some new changes and new perks, new adaptations. I mean, Reaper is one of those characters, been a big talk, considering they just added, the dire shots now being a part of his permanent toolkit.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I've also heard too from my own friend that loves to play Reaper personally. He's also said it's worked a lot in his favor, or it feels more substantial in Reaper's kit pretty much to have that consistently. So I also wonder too if either of the teams are going to bother to pull out Reaper here, given that sure you might not get the environmental kills, but Reaper is a pretty good flanker, and if you know how to line up those Death Blossoms too, it could be deadly.
Yeah, I think Reaper is one of those characters that's been, I don't want to say S tier, the must pick, but has always been good enough where you can kind of rely on them and lean on them in those desperate times, especially when Malga and Ramatra has been a prominent pick lately. I feel like it does help in terms of damage output. Yeah,
I could agree with that for sure. I think Malga is kind of another consistent tank that we're starting to see. I think we've usually kind of seen Sigma, Orisa kind of sticking with defensive options that are safer with a shield and stuff like that. But given that Malga just has so much damage and that he also lights you up and then his cage, there's so many factors that make him very strong that I think a lot of people are now wait a second, why weren't we using this tank before?
We sleeping on him, man. I've been telling people for a long time, those tanks, especially when you have somebody who's a specialist in them and they actually know how to play them very, very well, it makes a huge difference. So I'm excited to see some of the tank play and what they decide to do. I know the ballers are definitely, or the Meltdown is going to be leaning on Koi a little bit in terms of actually tank. I do see Tidal has a couple of tank players at their disposal. We're not going to be seeing Denji to start. Instead, we're going to see Epic Shock up on the playing field. So interesting T-pose, but hey, you know what? We are so back.
Okay, looks like we got a little reset. It happens.
All right. Now, see Dab Master on the tank. We got Didn't You See Me playing. I believe he's playing DPS. Didn't You See Me was playing on a couple different teams. I believe I have to double check because I recognize the name and they were definitely not on Meltdown at the earlier part of the season. Yeah, it looks like they were part of Silent Blossoms. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at their resume and they have an extensive resume of teams under their belt. Was that Team Pinecone, Festive Feeders, Royal Roses, Shoreline Pie, Law Ready for This? Oh snap, they're ready. Okay, my bad. Here we go. Grand finals time. Never mind. Wait. Oh, we are so back. Okay. Ball, and now a Flying Bastion.
Yeah, you did mention that Jetpack Cat, and it's coming into play, especially with the Bastion. I mean, that's just a volatile pick, but I also respect it too. I mean, certainly got a no ball to pull this kind of duo out here.
We did see a little bit of this in the actual Overwatch Championship series, so it's nice to see them taking some notes from the pros to kind of apply that in their in-game, but. A completely different composition style, and for Tidal X, we're gonna see obviously the Tracer and of course Emre. Pirate Walnut lost their flying target, and an easy target if you're a Mercy player with nobody to fly to. Easy pickings, especially for a Tracer.
Yeah, I do worry a bit for Pirate Walnut on Tidal X, given, like you said, Mercy, she is a good healer. It just really gets dire, though, if you don't have the velocity and enough, like, to pretty much fly away in time. And, with the hazard as well, Bastion, Jetpack Cat, this whole, like, ordeal and the possibility of getting chased down by Tracer as well, it's a lot of pressure.
This is so weird. Everybody is everywhere, so that's why we're struggling to find like one person, because every time we click on the one person, they either die or get no on. You can see we're watching Tracer just try to open things up, but everybody's so elusive. They do actually flip the point back over to their favor. Meltdown did manage to get at least 30% going before they flipped it back over, and we still have a Bastion flying through the sky, getting a double kill. Dab Master trying to help isolate some targets as well, but with Wrecking Ball kind of being able to run away as fast as they can, a little bit harder to anchor down. Tidal X, again, just kind of scrambling on this fight. They are going to be able to flip the point back in their favor, equalize the percentage just a tad bit, but yeah, very, very scrambly fight overall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is looking back, though, that the Jetpack Cat and Bastion is going to do some dirty work here, especially with that hazard ult coming into clutch to hold in place of the Tidal X there. A little unfortunate, but, it gets the job done, and it was perfectly lined up.
Yeah, you know what? It was, I mean, right in front of the spawn door, so not much anywhere else you can go in that scenario, but Epic Shock gotta try to find a way to disrupt some of this backline. It's kind of hard because everybody's kind of everywhere, again, with Frost and Twisted kind of, hunting the backline. Timbo actually going to pop the ultimate weapon, looking for targets, not going to be able to find anything yet because everybody's kind of scrambled. And Didn't You See Me asking the ultimate question as he obliterates his opposition, and another team fight win for Meltdown. And they're, creeping up on this 100% mark, so they got to be really careful how they want to try to re-engage in this next fight.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is going to be the question of, didn't you see the Bastion in the air just flying around? Like, it's a very deadly gun, honestly, and it's scary just how accurate this Bastion has been through the air. Just a constant aggressor here that Tidal X can't get back into the point here, and we have so many ults ready. We have both supports popping ults, getting the sticky bomb, but not able to secure the kill, but Pirate Walnut will.
Okay, hold on. The Mercy pulling out the Glock at the perfect time. They do get rid of the Bastion and able to get the res. So we're going to be able to go into this fight with full people, or your full team on site. People are kind of scattered once again. Dab Master getting really low. The Suzu comes out in the nick of time just to keep him just a little bit healthy. Still kind of low, so he's not going to be able to stay on the point for too much longer. Pirate Walnut forced to fly back to the team, not going to be able to survive for too much longer. And Crow getting involved in the kill feed, able to kind of chunk down the last bit of HP. And they're going to be able to cap the point fully. Nobody there to contest.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Again, just kind of the gravity of the situation that we're seeing, that Tidal X cannot break through, and arguably, especially with Ball. Like, Wrecking Ball is considered a pretty good tank for flanking and creating that distance, and with the ult as well, with the little mines and stuff like that. I'm honestly a little surprised that it's not, like, breaking through. We haven't seen anything, like, groundbreaking yet from Tidal X, but now that we're seeing the switch off of the Mercy to now Kiriko, I do like the switch a lot better now, so hopefully the Mercy doesn't continue to struggle when looking for aid and looking to fly away, because that was, like, the biggest hill that Mercy was trying to get over there.
Yeah, that was kind of a head scratcher. I was really confused about seeing the Mercy pick there, but you know, better late than never. We're going to see the matching compositions all together, minus the tank. It's going to be a little bit harder for Epic Shock to get anything going. You can see, unfortunately, the better Jetpack Cat and Bastion will prevail in that matchup. They're going to be able to get some early percentage lead, but again, it's going to be tough. I don't know who Epic Shock's going to try to isolate. I mean, maybe they can try to get rid of the Kiriko, but when there's so many targets flying through the sky and so many bodies spread out that you can teleport to, it's going to be hard to iron that down.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Tidal X might want to focus on here would be Crow, given the Jetpack Cat is the carrier of the Bastion. You would kind of just figure, well, if I get the cat, then Bastion would also fall as well. But we'll see, though, how they tend to play this out, as they're now down a Tracer, and just not a lot of pressure from Timbo here, or like anyone else, just quickly shutting down everyone else on Tidal X.
Okay, and you can see Iggy actually swapping over to the Alari, Timbo going over to the Ashe. See, like, now if we're going to go the Ashe, now I feel like this is the perfect time to run the Mercy Pocket, but, you know, unless we're going to see some swaps later on, it's going to be a tough ask. They do get rid of Dab Master at the start of this fight, but are they going to be able to capitalize and actually cap the point? They do actually cap the point in time.
Yeah.
They almost didn't. Had me scratch my head for a second, but we're good.
Internally, I was like, please get the point!
Yeah. I was like, please, man, I'm begging.
I've said that to my teammates way too many times, just cap the point.
Ooh, Dab
Okay, yeah.
A lot of these Kirikos have been involved in terms of the kill feed. You know, we saw Crow playing a little bit more proactively on the offense as well, so perhaps this might be a very support-dominated series.
Yeah, even the little shimmy that the Kiris are doing, I really like the movement, because, you know, the little shimmy, it gives you a little bit of movement, but also the deceptiveness of where the kunais are gonna go. And that's why it works well, because you're, like, also adding pressure as you heal as well, since Kiri just has that much enough time, and the leniency that she has as a character. Whoa. Look at that! I mean, you can literally do it all with Kiriko. Okay. See, it's like
Kiri's still on the kill feed, man. One way or another, whether I'm the one dying or I'm the one getting the kills. Oh, they almost moved Dab Master off the map, but unfortunately, Epic's gonna be the one ripped off the map, and he doesn't have pull. He's gonna take himself for that. He is gonna be able to actually get rid of Crow. But again, there's nobody left to actually contest this point, it's going to be in favor of Meltdown. They do actually take the lead here in terms of percentage, so that's better than nothing. Oh, Pirate cannot fall here, able to teleport out in time, but still dangerously low.
Yeah, Frost. Definitely a lot better now, though, in this 1v1 situation. Now that Tracer's here for assist to get this Tracer, but, I mean, we'll see. Frost is just running her way immediately.
Yeah, just forced to run for the hills. You got to keep an eye on your Cassidy just to make sure you keep him in check. Frost getting kind of low, twisted, trying to dispose of their counteracting. Tracer, Dab Master, not going to be able to jump away. That's the benefit of running the Cassidy. Stun him, keep him in check. And there's a few targets he can stun. He can stun the Kiriko, the Jetpack Cat. Every single one of those targets is susceptible to getting stunned and, you know, blown up by their team. So good swap over by Timbo, and they are definitely going to start turning the hill here.
Yeah, for sure. It did seem like some switches were necessary for Tidal X, just to turn things a bit around, especially given I really think the Kiriko switch helped a lot, and Timbo especially tried the Bastion, didn't entirely work out, tried the Ashe, didn't work out, but now that we're on the cast, things are looking better here, as they try to just at least evenly get out the percentage here, try to secure another Bastion kill, but we find the stun into Flash. Bang, you gotta love it.
Okay, and Bastion popping the ultimate just to give himself some extra HP, but Timbo in shock, able to clean things up. And yeah, Timbo is definitely starting to wake up at the bottom end of this map, because now we're going to be able to tie things up 1 round apiece here in this first map. And you already alluded to it. I mean, we played Mystery Heroes at the start, but hey, we found the character that works for us. We're anchored it down. And I think this is great going to this point.
That's what matters. As long as you figure it out at the end of the day and you're making the adjustments just fast enough before it gets any more scary, you know, we have a really good and fair next round for our last one here.
Now, the real question for Meltdown, are you going to keep running this comp? Because, I mean, it feels like a silly comp, but at the same time, they're finding success with it. And that game, it still came down to a single fight. Because I know it was at 80-something%, but in all actuality, if they won that one fight, flipped the point back over in their favor, I don't know if they would have had enough time to recontest. Sure, they had a Wrecking Ball and a Tracer and whatnot, but it's still a long ways away. So they're going to have to play a little bit more solid from here on out. I don't know if they can keep playing all sporadic as they were the first half of this point.
Yeah, things were definitely a little messy in the beginning here, but they are turning things around. But now that we see this duo, once again, the Jetpack Cat Bastion here, I don't know, it's kind of scary right now. This Bastion is just like a hunter right now, and so
that was crazy. That was a crazy play. So Crow was just sitting up there at a point, because again, when you're holding somebody, you're going to third person, they can't really see you. And while he's there, just completely lining up a team fight and organizing it by Dabmaster to put the spike block at the perfect spot to keep, cut off their entire team. And Timbo was literally caught between a rock and a hard place, either a spiked wall or a full charge basket.
Choose wisely.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Is there no third option?
A secret third option. You don't get to find out what it is now.
Okay, the Tracer duel on point. I will say the Tracer duel is just as important as all the other fights, because if Frost winds up dying to Twisted, they pretty much relinquish the entire point. You can see that Frost was getting kind of low and has to kind of regroup. Frost actually does take care of Timbo, and with Crow taking care of Twisted, that's going to be another team fight win for Meltdown. Just nothing but staggers here, so Epic's going to have to regroup with the rest of the team. They do have minefields lined up here in this next fight, so they are going to be able to help hopefully secure this point.
Yeah, and we're also going to see another switch now from Timbo. I do like the Emre pick. I think this is also another common pick that we see for DPS-wise. Just another great damage output. Also, the ult is really nice here. But
oh no!
See the hazard ult come out. Not enough to take Epic out. Ooh, unless it is actually at the very end there.
So you thought he was going to get away in time, but
I thought he was. That's what usually happens in my games. The ball gets away.
Always, right? Except when it's on your team. When it's on your team, then no.
Yeah.
They die right away. So Epic is going to be able to go straight to point here. They do have minefields, as I alluded to earlier, but now we're coming into an overtime situation. So Meltdown essentially only need to win one more team fight. I guess just kind of debating on when they actually want to utilize the minefield. Just trying to wait for their team to get back into the fight. But I mean, all the while they're trying to wait for it to happen. I mean, their entire team is falling around, and now it's just up to Ball and Twisted to be able to turn things around. Twisted does get a one pick. Didn't You See Me does pop Artillery Strike. Frost falls off the map accidentally. Crow's getting dangerously low, so they're not going to be able to stay on the point for too much longer. Minefield completely cleared out by Artillery Strike, and that's going to be a 100-0 win for this third point. Went the distance, but Meltdown able to secure it and lock down map number 1.
Yeah, that was quite a showing. I mean, completely shut things down. I mean, yeah, sure, Tidal X got their one game, but, I mean, Meltdown just completely turned around. They're like, alright, they're not having the next one. Like, we gotta put a stop to this. And they proved so with, the duo here. Really, the Jetpack Cat and the Bastion, Didn't You See Me? I mean, just excellent gameplay and movement by both teammates there, because I could only imagine, how difficult Jetpack Cat is. I don't have too much experience with her, but I know it's not easy with the movement. It's definitely something you gotta get used to.
it's essentially the same thing like Mercy. It's like you gotta have that Mercy parkour mindset where you need to stay elusive, because at the same time you're flying through the sky. There's no cover up there. You're just kind of a flying cat, so to speak. So you can easily get chunked down. And you can see that's why Timbo was playing so many different variants of hit scans just to kind of chop her down at some point in time. Unfortunately, no luck. You saw, like I said, that one single round was a sort of a consolation prize for them. But that first map, very one-sided. I think, we can agree upon that. Even though Tidal X started to get some footing a little bit, it was still hard to kind of anchor down any of the opposing team.
Yeah, and I think also the difference between the two maps that we saw on Tidal X had a bit more of like open space that was more vulnerable to like random shots just kind of hitting the one stray shots and stuff like that. And with the last map that we saw there, because it's like that little hut kind of thing, it was not as easy to kind of just shoot and like spray it'll land kind of thing. There was a lot of strategic that we pretty much saw on the Meltdown side with the Jetpack Cat and the Bastion, of course, just kind of sitting up top because, you know, you're not looking up, honestly. You just gotta look up sometimes.
And that's now we're at a crossroads here where we're down only one game in the series. It's first to 4, so we have a long set ahead of us. Do you want to try and waste? I mean, I don't want to say waste, but use your one ban, because you can only ban one hero once per series. So if you want to ban the Jetpack Cat or the Bastion, that you only get that one time for the series. So do you want to save it for later on when you get closer to potentially winning, or do you want to try to stop any type of momentum that the opposing team is going to have? What do you think their mindset's going to lean towards here?
Honestly, if I'm on Team Tidal X, I'm kind of thinking to hold off until the very end when we're close to it, because I don't think Jetpack Cat and Bastion is much of a difficulty as it needs to be. I think there wasn't enough maybe warm up or kind of movement built with like a hit scan or like the DPS. Like they just could not probably have gotten like comfortable enough with their characters to really like almost just like feel that, you know, like in a sense of like you get an understanding of your character and you're like, okay, I'm feeling the momentum and stuff like that. And because I feel like we didn't see too much of that on the DPS side, and we saw more of that with the Bastion as well. Like we saw that synergy that they had that down to a T. So I feel like, you know, if they play things out right here, and if they can tie it up even to like 2-2 or 3-2 and whatnot, then that's when I would consider banning the Bastion.
Yeah, and you can see here the map pool. Oh, geez, bad voice crack. What do you call it? Ilios, obviously, probably one of the worst ones to actually run, or like the best ones to run the Bastion and Jetpack Cat. But now it's open season when it comes to the next map. I mean, you can choose any type of game mode, any type of map that you see on the screen. In all honesty, I think you want to probably go for an escort just to kind of focus on the objective type style things. I think, you know, positioning wise, I think Tidal X was playing very, very well. It was just hard because, you know, Meltdown was playing so scattered. They couldn't really hone in on a singular target. So if we can kind of focus on an objective type game mode, hell, even push would work here as well. Just to kind of hone in their targeting, make things a little bit easier in terms of a team-based thing. And hell, like I said, you can ban one of those characters. I think Bastion is not a bad ban to go for if you're going to go for a map like Shambali or Havana. I don't know if you're going to try to go for a map like Dorado or Route 66, but it is definitely still on the table.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to say. I mean, yeah, that was really kind of the one map that was so lined up perfectly for Cat and Bastion to set up there. And in other cases, I feel like it could also work pretty much anywhere, but I think it just really comes down to just like hopefully if Tidal X can find their footing a bit more there, and as you said as well with the ball not really having like an exact target or really knowing where to go, and kind of like, you know, needing to assist his teammates given that he's a tank, and just being pulled in every direction pretty much. There's no real like kind of direction or like path or like a goal. It's just very hard to decide in that moment when you're the only tank, and playing ball, that's a difficult role because not only do you have to sometimes flank, you also got to like protect your teammates or protect the point or, you know, make some crazy play happen. So it's a lot to decide on, but it looks like the next map though from Tidal X is going to be Suravasa here.
Okay. Obviously, I was already alluding to going to an objective type game mode, but they want to go for Suravasa instead. There's obviously a plan here. So, you know, I'm a big hater of this map. So is Layla. But, you know, it's mostly, I think there's a lot of practice being put into this game mode, or into this map in particular, and King's Row, of course, so Scrim's Row as we like to call it. But I think when it comes to this map, they have a plan of action, because obviously they picked this for a reason. I believe it's one of their best map win rates as well. It's not their best, but it's their most picked. Every single time they lose a map throughout the entire playoffs and the actual round robin stage, they almost always go to Circuit Royale or to Saravasa. Those are the main two. So maybe saving Circuit Royale for something maybe a little bit later on. Havana is always an option for them as well. They're one of their third most picked maps. But now we're going to have to see what they actually want to do in terms of bans. Because now that they actually pick the map, they relinquish their first ban selection. So the first ban will go in favor of Meltdown.
Yeah, that's interesting that you even brought up too that one of their higher win rate maps is Saravasa, because I feel like personally I hardly ever select that map or the Atlas one. I hardly like the Flashpoint maps, or I can't remember what those ones are called, but I feel like I personally struggle on those. So it's just so interesting to me that they just have a wide pool of like map diversity that, you know, the win percentage is just high. It's like, okay, why don't we just go to this one that we know that we can win on?
Okay, so we're going to see the Mauga ban come out from Tidal X, and we're going to see the Kiriko ban from Meltdown. So I would imagine that they were expecting, you know, a jetpack cap ban. And obviously, for people who are not familiar with the rules, you can only ban one character per role, per map. So because Kiriko being banned, you're pretty much saving your jetpack cap because you can't ban an additional character in the support role. So at that point, Tidal X is going to retaliate and go with the Mauga ban. I didn't expect to see Mauga being played here, considering we saw a lot of Hazard being played. But then again, this is where I think they have a game plan set in mind. So maybe the hard counter for their specific comp is going to be the Mauga. If Denji does come in for Tidal X, I know he's a big Domina player and Domina Glazer. So when it comes to Domina, the one thing you have to deal with is an annoying big Hawaiian man jumping in and disrupting your entire backline. So now that we take care of that, makes things a little bit easier with playing the front line and kind of keeping targets, again, all honed in front of you.
Yeah, I think the Mauga decision was respectable. I think it could definitely be worrisome, as troublesome, just as, you know, as much as the Hazard as well, given that Hazard has a bit more of like the velocity we see, and given with Mauga, it's a bit more like he just kind of travels very fast and far, and he's able to, you know, have the jump up that he has, like the where he like knocks you up. He has that. He has the cage fight, as we know, and like he has two big guns. Like it's a lot of power in your face, and I think in some way they're similar. So maybe they're onto something. Maybe it's a bit of a foresight moment. I don't know, trying to play 4D chess or something.
Hey, I will say the layers that go into this game can be insurmountable sometimes. So I think they, like I said, they have a plan there's a reason why they picked Saravasa. There's a reason they're starting to make some changes. I do see Denji being subbed in as well, and Koi being subbed in for Dabmaster. So everything has a purpose. So now that we've seen those changes, I'd imagine we're going to see some Domina being played and utilized here, and just slowing things down, playing a lot more poke focused and not letting, you know, a Bastion fly around and do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, for sure. That's another really unique thing that I like about Domina, that she has the curved shield. So it's not just, you know, straightforward or like a small little bend. It's just entirely like a crescent almost. So that'll be interesting to see. I think we might have seen Domina the last time I cast. I'm not 100% sure, but in general, I like watching Domina here. So we'll see if they face up against the Bastion and the Cat again to see how they'll combat it this time. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I know this map gets a little hectic, a little sporadic. Hopefully, you know, I don't want to bring that energy into the air, but this was one of the other maps that had a drastic server crash, you know, during the map. So hopefully we don't see that again. The only two maps that we've been seeing that on has been Kings Row and Saravasa. So hopefully we don't see that again. You know, crossing my fingers here, cross my fingers and my toes. But yeah, we're also seeing, I believe June is coming in for Didn't You See Me? So that's another sub that we're going to see. So again, the tanks is going to be Denji for Tidal X, Koi for Meltdown. Oh, and never mind. Didn't You See Me did not get subbed out. And you know what? They said margins are messed up, so we're just going to run it. Run it back, Turbo. We'll fix it next map. No biggie.
And we're also seeing Denji actually on the Ramatra here. So I'll talk about Dom just to get faced with Ramatra. But I mean, still not a bad choice though. It's a solid tank.
Yeah, and we see Natara going over to the Ana, and we're seeing a Roadhog from Koi. So this is one of those characters very polarizing a lot of people. Timbo does get an early start. Didn't you see me pulling off the masterclass flank, playing super duper slow into the backline? It may be going to be able to get a pick. I don't think they're going to be able to survive for too much longer. Yeah, just going to wind up getting blown up and just taken out entirely. And like our feed, but it's all right. We are so back. So unfortunately for Didn't You See Me, they didn't see him, but still not able to actually capitalize on that. Pirate also swapping back over to the Mercy. Kind of surprising. We didn't see Mercy being played at all in the intermediate and the rookie division, and yet in the advanced division we're going to be seeing this. So kind of something to look out for.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with the Soldier pick here too. I mean, that's just a really strong Mercy pocket here. Also to, you know, kind of quickly disassemble Didn't You See Me and Crow as well. That could definitely put a dent into their force there if they try to pull it again. And I think Mercy is going to have a more easier time on this map, given with all the different heights here on the map too.
And what a call out from Timbo. Immediately capitalize and using the overclock to snipe out any of the opposition that walks in his way. Make it a 2K for them, and Denji able to help survive the onslaught and clean up the last few picks. And again, I see the vision they're going for the Roadhog. They're just going to run the jetpack cat to put the Roadhog on the high ground, but it's tough because you're letting your entire team, you know, fall around you. Not able to get your Ana into that power position so she can actually, you know, keep your tank alive. Frost winds up falling to Twisted. You know, considering that Meltdown won that first map, it's been pretty in favor of Twisted for this Tracer duel, and I think that's been super important, and I think that's why they maybe wanted to capitalize on that and stay on a map, a game mode very similar and reminiscent of Control by going Flashpoint. So again, this is why they're on, you know, playing in Grand Finals, and I'm sitting here on the mic.
I mean, like, they just know something that we don't. That's the only difference, and with practice we can get there, surely.
All right, already taken an early, you know, advantage by going to this point. Denji putting the shield down now. Unfortunately, Iggy getting caught out of position. We do still have Valkyrie active, so res is still a factor. And you know what? Unfortunately, Denji not able to survive for too much longer. Pirate does get on the kill feed, maybe looking for another one, but not gonna be able to survive for too much longer. Mercy pistol whipping. You only get one kill for that. Hopefully, we can see a little bit more. So I can imagine they're probably going to aim for taking over high ground just to make sure that Bastion doesn't get a whole lot of value. But again, it's all on a matter of like the Tracers scouting out, figuring out where they're going to go, and be a little proactive with where they're going to be positioned at. You see them making their way to the point now, onto the top right side. Iggy not going to be able to keep Timbo alive and still going to utilize Orbital Strike. I mean, Orbital Ray. And Koi forced to use Roadhog ult. Yeah, they're going to be able to get to the point and be able to flip it back over in their favor. So not a complete waste. I do like that they were able to actually flip the point back in their favor. They do get some percentage on the board, so not entirely, you know, gone. But I would have loved to see that on this next Annihilation from Denji.
Yeah, we'll see if it'll be enough for Tidal X to make some waves back onto the second point here, given that Meltdown is reaching that 100% mark very soon here. And with the flashpoints too, I feel like the percentage goes by really quick, so we'll see with this flank if they're able to secure it. Still no kills yet, but Frost lands the pulse bomb on Timbo there.
Yeah, that's going to be a wraps. Hopefully Denji doesn't try to do a hero play here. You get to save your ult for the next fight. Yeah, just going to wind up falling there, and that's going to be a pretty decisive second point. And again, it's very, very reminiscent of that first map where you see they started getting their footing down, and Meltdown was starting to run away with it. So hopefully they can kind of make some changes, some adaptations now, so they don't get it too out of reach. And again, oh, okay. Ooh. Timbo, get that early pick. And again, he's been utilizing the Mercy pocket, so they're going to be missing a support as they roll into it. And yeah, they're going to play a lot slower, recognizing they don't have their Ana into this fight. I mean, she's really close to a Nano as well. Okay, artillery strike going to come in. Hopefully try to find somebody isolated. Timbo needs to run for the hills. And Pirate, unfortunately, getting caught by themselves, trying to run away from the artillery strike, but walking into the loving arms of a Roadhog. They do get the early, point advantage, but at the same time, they still lost some of their key figures on this payload. And they're still going to pop Annihilation. Missed hook. Kind of vital, but you got to be careful. Crow not going to be able to survive for too much longer, getting flopped out of the sky. They do get the point flipped over, and now it's just a matter of getting rid of this Roadhog. Can they get rid of Koi and flip it back over the point before they lose too much percentage? Yeah, it's going to pretty much only be about 18% before they flip it back over. So
yeah,
nice little ult for Denji to swarm the objective altogether. Sorry, Gal.
You're good. Yeah, that was definitely a good play that I also wanted to shout out there. And I liked that Crow tried to be a bit of the savior moment. They're trying to save the rest of their teammates, but unfortunately, I mean, that's just the problem with Annihilation. It'll just damage you even if you're in range there. But it still seems like they're gonna struggle to get back the point from Meltdown as they slowly gain it back to 25% here. Still, they gain a lot of percentage while they did have the point, though exceeding that 50% mark a little over here. So still a good position to be in. We're just kind of sending things back, resetting a little bit.
Uh-oh, Timbo, overclock, straight to the back line. Gotta be careful not to get hooked. Koi barely missing out on the hook in time. Twisted taking care of Frost again. That's why I wanted to keep pointing and keep highlighting this Tracer duel. I know it's not getting a lot of screen time, but at the same time, it means a big difference because not having Frost able to kind of take care of the Mercy or the Juno makes their lives way easier. So Twisted's been doing God's work for the supports.
You are absolutely right, honestly. I really didn't think about it to account for it, but Twisted really has been dominating the Tracer duel, as you said, and that's crucial because, that's the only reason why Pirate Walnut is partially alive. Being able to pocket and keep Timbo also alive, having both DPS and support like this is a lot for Tidal X here, and especially the way that she twisted sneaky play and goes to sleep.
No. They don't win this. They do not win this. They should not win this. Unreal. Yeah, look at Denji forced to pop Annihilation. Just trying to chase down the ball, but not going to be able to find him in time. Noct was also sitting in the back. They got the headshot on a perk, so that does some monster damage onto the back line. Any squishy target easily be able to chomp them down. Denji gets anti, so forced to just sit there and block, so not able to take care of the Jetpack Cat. Crow and Koi on the point contesting this entire time. Frost makes it back as well. Koi immediately falls out of sight, so no nano in time. They do nano the Bastion, so straight to the configure. Denji forced to just hold block, but I don't think he's going to be able to survive for too much longer. Timbo getting rid of Crow. They finally get rid of the Ana on this point, and they do actually able to subdue the pressure and win this point back over. Got a little dicey towards the end there, but they were able to lock it down.
Yeah, that was some excellent gameplay there from Tidal X. I liked as well that Pirate Walnut just did not let go sight of Denji, just completely, continuously healing the heck out of that Ramacha to keep him alive at all costs so they would not lose the point there. And getting the Valkyrie too also put so much value into securing that point really, and especially having Timbo get those elims out. So glad to see that they secure another point, but with Pirate Walnut down before the point can even unlock, I mean, who knows how it's going to look now.
Yeah, they lose Pyre super early there. Thank you for pointing it out. I always tend to forget the Mercy. I'm one of the DPS players. I don't ever appreciate my Mercy pocket. It's always great until I don't have it. But, as many picks as Meltdown's been having, the positioning definitely in favor of Tidal, but unfortunately I don't know if they're going to be able to survive. Denji, the last one on the objective, all he can do is sit there and watch between his blocked arms as his entire team crumbles around him. An early start for Meltdown, but again, we've seen how quickly things can unfold.
Yeah, and seems like as Meltdown gets a bit more comfortable setting up here, kind of locking down and protecting point pretty much from Tidal X, we'll see what the play is, and Denji kind of caught by themselves here and getting the solo from the cat. Oh,
whoa,
what?
Hold on. Things are still even on the fight, even though we lose Denji super early on in that fight. No, looks like they're going to be able to flip back into their favor. Crow getting kind of low, as well as the tank. Crow and Koi, both critical HP. Twist has been doing amazing in terms of damage. They do get the res onto Timbo, but now their entire team is fallen. All this damage starts to become a little bit more permanent. Needs to start slowing down, needs to regroup, because we're already coming to that 70% mark. Flashpoint ticking way faster than a normal control, so if they don't kind of iron up the, batten down the hatches, they're going to be going to a final point.
Yeah, this is the one big final push that they need to go for. Tidal X has a lot of pressure on their back now that they're also down a support here. So I just wonder what the game plan is going to be. How do they make it in? And now that Frost is focusing the Mercy, no tank either. It just looks like Tidal X is not even able to make it.
Yeah, and Timbo starting to feel the pressure a little bit. Swapped over to the Cassidy. Again, we saw that during that first map as well, just trying to find something that can keep their team alive, keep their supports nice and healthy. Noct also going over to the Mizuki. Kind of something we haven't seen in a while, but again, I think Noct has already set the tone that we just need to take care of this Tracer, and once we take care of her, makes things a little bit easier. A full 5-man team pushed through this hallway, the corridor. I can imagine Orbital Ray is going to be utilized early by Iggy, and now we're going to go straight to the point potentially.
Oh man, this flank is looking deadly right now. I mean, Crow and didn't you see me trying to get a good landing in, but just unable to really find a comfortable spot there. Still gonna put pressure though on the side, but Timbo securing the Bastion pick here, and Tidal X gonna keep the point.
See, that's why I don't play Jetpack Cat, because occasionally I'll wind up dropping my DPS, and I actually dropped in, you see me, straight into the backline, and no way for him to get out and survive.
Oh no! That's unfortunate.
Gotta ignore those tiny little mistakes. Get back into it. I didn't know you can get into high ground from that. I gotta take notes on that. I didn't know you can blink onto high ground as Tracer. Okay, Minefield utilized on the high ground. Can't stay in front of the high noon for too long. Stuck. Not able to survive. And again, the Tracer duel going in favor of Twisted. Again, they get the res onto Timbo, so no harm, no foul. And now with Orbital Ray on site, they do wind up getting rid of the Cassidy, but they have to make sure they pay attention to the percentage, because now we're going into the 90% territory. Final fight for Tidal X to be able to tie up the series. They just need one more fight win, and it's all in the back of Koi. Koi needs to try to survive this. Frost as well. They're both desperately trying to swap in and out. Frost getting the pick onto Twisted. This does help out a little bit. Crow getting rid of Pirate. Is Denji willing to commit the annihilation on this site? No, not going to use it. They do get rid of the Lucio, but they do flip the point back over, at the very last moment. 99% for Tidal X. One fight to secure this map.
Yeah, just barely letting that slip away from their hands there. But again, still that we have the Annihilation ready to go. I honestly thought Denji popped it there, but, just keeping it on the back burner is going to matter so much, given that this is now round 5 pretty much for this Flashpoint map. It's gonna be down to the wire the more that they let time just pass by here, looking for an entryway point. Denji on point, looking for his teammate, but we'll see how this play goes.
Okay, they're clearing the site up with the High Noon and Denji on site as well. I would have liked to see them on position, on point first before they utilize that, but they do get the point. Flipped back over, and with Denji having Annihilation, you already know what that means. It's go time. Twisted having Pulse Bomb as well. Everybody getting super low. Yeah, see you later, Bastion. Timbo also lighting up the kill feed. They do get the stick off. Everybody's super critical, but unfortunately Frost, it's all on the back of him. Got to pull off a miracle play, and it's not going to happen. Noct trying to get over to the point to trigger some more overtime, but unfortunately walking into the Gravity Well and walking into a tied-up series. What a set so far.
Yeah, that really turned around to Tidal's end there, and Timbo gonna be also getting the play here. I really do like that we're highlighting Timbo now into this play, because Timbo did a lot of work into this Flashpoint map. I mean, just so consistent, really utilizing the Mercy damage boost there and everything, securing the picks, securing the Tracer pick when, that wasn't even like Timbo's job there, just doing above and beyond work for the team there, and as well as Twisted.
Andrew, I was already reading you in the chat, man. I said the same thing. I was like, what's more annoying to deal with, a Bastion Jetpack Cat or a Mercy Pocketed Soaker? Never going to really know at that point. We're going to take a little break. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, figure out what the teams want to do in terms of map number 3, because now things are all tied up here as we lead further into the series. Again, 1st to 4 for these guys here in Grand Finals. So stick around, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spawn Point Championship Series number 4. And we're here with Grand Finals, back from a little 5-minute break. Tidal X versus Bomb Pop Ballers Meltdown. And so far, we're tied. We've done 2 games, 1-1. And now that we're gonna get into the maps more, we'll see how this game 3 will go.
Yeah, I'm excited because I think these teams are going to be neck and neck. I mean, Smarty's already kind of alluded to it, read through the script already. Potential map 7 gigabanger coming up, and ties are still a factor too. So I mean, it might even go further beyond that. I definitely see these teams, hitting that mark on a hybrid map. So we're gonna have to see what they actually decide to do. Yeah, if you want to do maps, Layla, I'm ready for it, son. But let's see what we got. And we got Havana. Yeah. Oh, wow. So it's one of those things that Tidal was actually the ones who selected this map. So the Meltdown actually relinquished their map choice so they can ban first. So they have a idea of what they want to ban here in map number 3.
Yeah, I'm curious too as who they're gonna ban then. Mercy. Oh. Interesting. And Tidal X actually retaliating by banning Bastion this time around. So it both seems like they both got their ones on each other here. No Mercy and no Bastion in this game 3. I mean, this is definitely scary.
You already talked about 4D chess and stuff like that. That's exactly why I was kind of concerned about like doing, relinquishing band selections first or map choices and stuff like that, because you got to be flexible enough where you can play whatever type of comps against these players, because when it comes to these bans and stuff, they go a long way. I mean, again, getting rid of the Bastion off of a Jetpack Cat Bastion strategy makes things a little bit harder to do. I don't really know if there's another character you can kind of use in substitution for that. You could try to run the Soldier and whatnot, but without his armor and the health pool that Bastion has, it's a little bit harder to try to stay up in the sky for long periods of time.
Yeah, it's really gonna be kind of like a crutch for Crow to really kind of like be able to handle movement really well and to be able to kind of carry on the Soldier or Emre if we see another hit scan that they might try to do. But, in a way, I feel like they might just entirely shut down that idea, given that, with the Bastion, I feel like that's what really gave the extra power and the threatening there. And as well, with Meltdown, going with the first ban too. I mean, they're making quite a statement here by banning the Mercy. They're tired of it. They don't want to see it in the next game. Clearly making a statement here. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
That was not on my bingo card. I personally did not expect a Mercy ban well, one, I didn't expect Mercy to be played, and two, I didn't expect Mercy to be an actual ban choice. And this is a legitimate ban. It's not one of those things where it's like the Pro League, we see, they jokingly ban Mercy or Lifeweaver and stuff like that just to kind of throw a ban out. But honestly, this is a real one. I mean, Pirate was kind of giving them something to pay attention to, something that they're something frustrating they have to deal with, not only with just Mercy being, elusive, Mercy parkour being the front of her mind, but then these reses too. The reses make a huge difference, because you saw, Frost would wind up getting a pulse bomb onto Timbo, get rid of him out of the fight, and the next thing you know, he spawns right back in, and then just like, what the heck? How are you supposed to deal with that? Other than just banning her altogether?
And not only that, and then Twisted would be like right behind Pirate pretty much, ready to just destroy Frost and delete them. Like there was a lot of like connected movement there pretty much, where Twisted was always just ready to protect Pirate there, being able to clear out like any harm's way for the Mercy there to really make an impact there. And Mercy also, given that she has a damage boost staff, I would imagine that probably would have been like over 30 assists from that flashpoint, given that it also went to round 5. That's a lot of assists that you're doing and a lot of damage you're pumping into Soldier as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that's where I think supports have definitely been utilized a little bit more as the entire season has unfolded. Because I mean, at the start of the season, it's always been which DPS players can click the most heads, but now you're starting to see it evolved into a lot more than that, where we have, the supports that can start clicking heads themselves, the supports that can turn fights just by assisting. I think Kiriko has been, one of the main proprietors of that. But Crow has been doing phenomenal work in terms of playing Jetpack Cat and, getting and promoting some of these DPS plays. And on the other end, we got Pirate was playing Mercy a whole lot and actually damage boosting and rezzing in those key moments to kind of turn fights back in their favor. We're going to see if they can play a little bit more damage oriented with the Alari. So I'm going to be excited to see that. Tell him you're not a Mercy one trick.
It's also interesting, like, team that we're seeing now supports wise, because we have Kiri and Ilari on Tidal X, and then we have Bap and Zenyatta. And as we were talking about, like, those beneficial supports now that do a little bit more, the extra mile rather than just healing, I feel like Zen is going to play a big factor into this because of those discords. It's going to be troublesome here for Tidal X to maybe hold this point. I mean, we'll see how it turns out for them, but it's still going to be scary because it's going to be extra damage now.
Hold this point. Denji can't even hold his shield out for half a second. See how fast it gets obliterated, man? That's insane.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of running like the Baptiste, the Zenyatta, the Sierra. I kind of forget that Sierra just got introduced to the game. This is another good character you can kind of pair up with the Jetpack Cat, because if you can get the tracking dart put onto him, you can just fly anywhere you want and you'll never wind up missing. He is forced by Dabmaster, so they're not going to be able to play up front for too much longer. Twisted, able to get the grenade onto the backline, so a chunk of their healing gone. And now with that rock going onto the field and no Eat in sight, that's going to be an easy point control now for Tidal X. They do get the point almost all the way to the end, so now it comes down to a single fight situation. But now Tidal in a position where they can kind of hold their corner and not have to worry about too much.
Yeah, I also really liked that play that we saw from Denji there, kind of the peekaboo kind of hiding from the corner and then having the rock out just in time to get rid of Dabmaster there, and especially with Twisted still keeping the pressure on even in these Ditto like matchups that we're seeing between Twisted and Frost still. I mean, they're both on Emre there and still just able to still kind of hold down their ground there.
Okay, going for the corner, the rock at the perfect time. Denji is always sniping targets with these rocks. And now are they just going to back up altogether? They're just going to back up altogether, kind of wait it out. Dabmaster and Din Yusini on the high ground. Denji getting kind of low. They do have Suzu if they need to, but Frost finally getting rid of Twisted. Okay. I don't win the Tracer duel, but I win those Emery duels.
Yeah, we'll see too.
If Kitsune Rush.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
A ton of ultimates at the same time, sorry.
No, you're good. There's a lot happening.
Gravitic Flux at the same time as the Kitsune Rush, so not able to utilize the ultimate weapon from Emre, so kind of back to square one. And we're actually kind of running out on time here, only down to a minute and a half for Meltdown to kind of secure things up. Dabmaster still does have Gravitic Flux of his own, though.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate on Meltdowns, and they're not really making use of the many ults that they had there, but as they slowly get picked here, we'll see hopefully if Crow's able to keep them alive, especially with the anti-die, but with Ilari's ult, I mean, just able to do, like, some work here.
Man, that got really dicey. Twisted popped his secret weapon at the same time, the ultimate protocol, at the same time as Pirate. So if they were able to get those detonations to go off, you saw Dabmaster fall super low. Crawl unfortunately fell to the nuclear bomb, but able to secure the point. A little scary to deal with, running out of time, but you can see Twisted back on their comfort hero, back onto the Tracer. So we're gonna have to see if Frost wants to try to match at any point in time. Not gonna have to worry about it too much once the Tracer falls.
We'll see here. It was definitely getting down to the wire, though, for Meltdown to secure that point. Getting a little, like, under 2 minutes there, but as they secure, they also knock down Dabmaster, maybe even Sierra. Unable to. Yeah, just a little too short.
You see, Denji was hunting for a nice rock. Hey, and this is what I like to see. I know you don't want some bias, but I love seeing me some Genji gameplay. Twisted, first time they're playing Genji this series. And you see how well they've been playing onto the Tracer, so I'd love to see how they play with the way of the blade instead. Sierra ult onto the site, and getting both the DPS kind of low. Pirate actually does wind up falling though in the meantime. Everybody kind of scrambling for the hills. Dabmaster able to help clean up the rest of the fight. With his payload slowly chugging along, Denji has nowhere left to go except forward. They're gonna pop Kitsune Rush on the site. I don't know how that rock winds up missing. Goes into the cellar. Oh no, Dab Master versus Denji. 1v1 for this boy, baby. Oh gosh, just nuclear bombs going off into the cellar. Noct just didn't want to risk any of that situation unfolding. You saw Denji actually building up to his ultimate, so it could have gotten very scary. But it's all right. They still able to win it in the end and turning that time bank into a nice healthy 3 minutes to be able to secure this full point.
Yeah, and it looks like now, I mean, didn't you see me, is forcing Denji entirely to back all the way back up to their final spawn point that they have there. Yeah, a little bit of a misclick probably, but it's okay. Happens to the best of us. So we're gonna maybe be forced to back up a little bit here. If I were Dab Master, I mean the whole team behind me and a rock to your face might not be good here. Oh my gosh.
Okay, still playing aggressive. Denji able to get Graphitic Flux on a couple players, Dab Master included. Yeah, and Noct winds up falling. There's no way you're gonna survive that without any type of immortality field or Suzu. Didn't you see me does get rid of Iggy and Crow getting rid of Twisted, so now they're gonna be able to come into it, you know, a little bit closer. The attacking spawn is favored on this point, at least when we're on this before the bridge, before the corner, before the castle head itself. So they do have at least a one-man advantage. Timbo swapping over to the Widowmaker. Let's see if we can find a headshot. Not gonna be able to find one anytime soon with that shield dangling in your face.
Yeah, we'll see. And we also got Pirate Walnut now switching over to Zen. So I also do still like to see the Zen out back to play here. Might come handy on this final point for Discords, but with that window, it could get dangerous.
Yeah, you see the window comes up, yeah, and Denji forced to retreat, immediately relinquishing all that spot. They do see the healing pylon there, so they're gonna be able to take care of it pretty quickly, especially with the assistance of Kitsune Rush into the backline. And Denji actually knocking Did You See Me off the map. Probably hit him with the rock and just force him off. Well, I'd like to think that. And Pirate also swapping over to the Zenyatta. So nice to see that. So we're going to have Trans as well to survive this next Graphitic Flux, but needs to try to stay back just to kind of utilize that. Frost matching the Widowmaker. Not peeking anything yet, just playing a little bit more patient, a little bit more cautious. I think Denji going to probably utilize his Graphitic Flux as well. Just probably use it early just to bait out some ultimates. Oh,
there's the Transcendence just in time to save it, and we're seeing the Graphitic Flux come out from Denji, landing a big rock there. Oh man.
Yeah, getting really low. They're gonna be able to win this fight. Hopefully, they're gonna be able to keep the payload at the just before the actual castle part itself. And then, man, dude, Denji has been insane with these rocks every single time. And that's one of the things, this dude plays an absurd amount of tanks. I was glazing about his Domina the whole time, but you see his Sigma just as impactful. So now that Pirate forced to use the Transcendence there, I'm kind of concerned with this next fight. They do have Sierra ultimate. Noct's going to have their Sunburst as well, or the Captive Sun. So it's going to be scary to come into this next fight, especially with only 15 seconds left. All comes down to this.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have more ults in time probably than Tidal X. Well, we'll see if the Kitsune is gonna show up just in time, down to the wire, some overtime here. But as we have both support ults on Meltdown, it could get scary, but Timbo gets a headshot on one of the supports. Both supports down now from Meltdown. Oh.
Yeah, they went up to have a C9 the point, but at that point you already lost the bulk of your teammates, so there's not much you could do there. I wouldn't classify it as a C9, more of just my teammates all died around me. But all around me are familiar faces, man. That was a crazy turnaround from the DPS. Timbo wasn't actually getting the headshots, but he was forcing them so low that Twisted able to capitalize and chunk them down. We saw a swap over to the Sojourn last minute again, and Iggy able to build up to another Kitsune throughout the entire fight. So I mean, just a lot happening, a lot unfolding, and that's where it gets very, scatterbrained when you're fighting in that little tight spot.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit risk taking there, given that we lost the Zen ult about like 30 seconds earlier than that last team fight, but because Iggy, was a little bit shorter of their ult there at 80%, kind of nearing that final time there around and into the overtime, it was the perfect time to get Kitsune Rush, and with Timbo as well, with the Sojourn, and how impactful the railgun that she has as well. It's quite a powerful gun, and having your other DPS, the Widow as well, coming into play there. It was just the supports as well being knocked down very early into the team fight before it even started, essentially.
Hey, Timbo, still starting off on another sniper, another sharpshooter, one that's a little bit harder to kind of hide from with the Widowmaker versus the Sojourn, but still just as deadly. Here we go. And again, Pirates starting off on the Zenyatta. It's kind of crazy to think about, you know, how impactful this Walnut's been this series. Uh-oh. Yeah, Timbo falls. Gonna be a quick little reset. Yeah, especially when you lose your Sigma like that. Give me a quick little reset. But again, nothing really lost. I think Meltdown wants to play a little aggressive anyways, because they saw how much space they got on their first fight. So rather than sort of replicate that, they're just going to play a little bit more proactive on the defense and start walking forward. And just slowing things down, just trying to play the payload. If they can get past this corner, I feel like that'd be a good little win for them, even if they don't wind up getting any picks. And I'm surprised Crow swapped off the Baptiste. I felt like the Baptiste was getting a lot of value. I think the windows were helping up a ton. You saw every single time window goes up, Denji almost always goes down. Or at least he hides. But bro, talk about Denji! Look at that! Just going straight to the back line! Luckily, Dabmaster able to survive. Nicely timed Kitsune or Suzu from Crow. And with Noctane a pick as well, they're gonna be able to help solidify the hold on this point again. And 2 fight wins now for Meltdown, but you can see where this payload position at. Now it comes down to, I think, a single fight win for them, and they were gonna be able to secure point alpha.
Yeah, it seemed like Tidal X had the right momentum there, and they had the movement lining up for them to get some more distance for the payload, but Meltdown turning it around entirely and just kind of all hands on deck moment there pretty much. I mean, I even saw the supports getting in there, saw Kitsune be thrown out, a lot of support on all angles and all roles here.
Yeah, it's kind of same thing as last time I talked about how there's only a minute and a half left. We're getting to that point again for Tidal X. Timbo does fall walking out of spawn, and that's the thing. Meltdown's been doing a great job just getting an early pick every single fight. They scout Denji, trying to run for the high ground, trying to take care of that. And yeah, he's able to actually secure the high ground. So Frost actually needs to get out of there, man. You got the whole team swimming on you, but they still get a pick for the road. Pro gets one as well, and now they're actually +1 in this fight. They're still going to use Kitsune Rush. Both Kitsune Rushes being forced onto the site. Denji falls. So now no more Graphitic Flux. Dabmaster still has theirs as well. And this is a big turnaround. I mean, now we're getting kind of desperation time. Now no more big ultimates for Tidal X. They do have Overclock, but how are you going to have an opportunity to use it? Dabmaster using an early Graphitic Flux does get rid of Twisted, but we still have a minute left on the clock. They have time to respawn and get back in.
Yeah, this is looking really dire now for Tidal X, as now they fall under a minute mark here. They really got to make something happen, especially with the Transcendence now. We almost have Emre's ult, and we have Overclock, as you mentioned, Leapfrog, but will it be enough to go the distance here?
Okay. Noct able to tie things up and actually take the lead back in their favor in terms of picks. And yeah, with the Zenyatta caught out of position, again, they still have time. They need to hurry up and wipe, though, so they can get back to it with a full team, full head of steam. A ton of big ultimates coming up as well. I mean, we're going to have the Overclock from Denusini. We have the ultimate weapon from Frost. We do still have a Transcendence as well from Pirate. And Denji actually giving up on the Sigma, going over to the Ramatra in favor of that. It's going to be a duel on the point. Matching Emre ultimates, just trying to clear the high ground as best as they can. Frost getting kind of low, so he's forced to back up for the time being. Getting kind of low, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. You do not want to go straight to the high ground. You can see, didn't you see me getting really low? Denji just on the point, and yeah, Transcendence being used, but not able to get any type of space. Iggy is able to get the Kitsune Rush out at the last possible moment, but unfortunately, with their team falls, it's going to be hard to get any type of usage out of that ultimate, and Meltdown able to stop Tidal X before they even get the first point and take back the lead in this set.
Yeah, and that was a very strong like defense that Meltdown just held down there. I mean, really, just especially matching almost all the characters as well against one another here, especially with Frost and Twisted once again on the M-Rays here, just completely reversing the tide around. And even with the Ramatras that we saw and the Kitsunes and all of it, just a lot of valuable ults that we saw come into play at the right moments too. And even with like stacking the ults at more down to the wire of the time, came in, in clutch pretty much for Meltdown there, being able to kind of hold on to ults until it really mattered.
Yeah, and that's where I get really scared in that one, because like that one fight where we go into the room and we utilize all of our ultimates, Denji popping his Graphitic Flux and an Iggy using their Kitsune Rush in that room, it felt too scrambly. Like, I think we need to plan something out just to make sure we can solidify an objective or something. Because, I mean, we're fighting in that room, nowhere near the point, and it's not going to help you take over the high ground. So even if you win that fight, or at least you force them into a different position, you're not really gaining anything out of that. So gonna have to start, ironing it down just a little bit. I could tell they started getting a little scrambly as the time bank started to dwindle down. They get kind of scared and they go, oh, maybe we just pop ult now. So if they can kind of, re-hone back in, I think they'll be all right going forward in the series. Because again, they're only down by 1, so I don't think it's any cause for alarm.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. Honestly, got to be a little bit of a recalibration kind of thing. Really, kind of manage the ult economy, as you first mentioned that to me. It's very important, honestly, how powerful ults are, and when you work together with kind of strategically knowing when to use them, when you know that your opponents are in a bad position, or you could really take advantage of pushing them to a point that you want them to be more vulnerable in. And you could really set up something nice for your team or even yourself or everyone, so you're able to secure those points faster, or let alone to secure the point. Because if we're wasting time on fights that are not even near the point, then what are we gaining pretty much? You're wasting time, and time is crucial.
Yeah, on attack, I mean, it's different if it's defense, because you're just milking out the clock a little bit. It's not a big deal. But on attack, those ultimates are few and far between. They're crucial to that point. With that map in particular, it was kind of tough because I didn't really think Havana really benefits them in that case, but they can kind of anchor down. They can kind of rehash it out with a plan, talk with their coach, kind of figure things out, because they got a couple different maps still available to them. They do have hybrid and push to select from, and after we choose those last 2 game modes, we actually reset and we can choose any map. Again, we're not going to repeat maps either, but we do need to play at least all game modes at least once before we decide a new one. And looking at this one, do you have any maps in particular you think that we're going to go to? So, and real quick, Tidal is actually opting to relinquish their map ban, or their map selection, to choose ban first. So this is actually going to be a map selection from Meltdown. So what do you think Meltdown's going to choose for this next map?
For some reason, I feel like we might see a push map.
That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking we go to something that's a little bit more poke focused or pick focused. So I'm thinking either Coliseo or Esperanza.
Those were the same 2 I was looking at too. I don't know. Something about those 2 maps just seems like it's gonna just. I don't know. It just made sense.
Watch him throw us a curveball and just pick King's Row, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I'll really. Of course, I should have just. That's I just know it's. But no, seriously, if I was Meltdown, I think I'm gonna keep leaning on the fact that Crow and Didn't You See Me have been kind of doing absurd work in terms of DPS throughout the series. And just let them go to work. So pick a push map like Coliseo or Esperanza, Esperanza, and let them do their job. Let them keep carrying. If they want to carry, go right ahead. I'll sit back and let you do the dirty work. His hands look like this, so mine's gonna look like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would agree if we see that same setup, and it turns out We were correct. You were a bit more on the nail, though, with the exact map, too. And we might just see the cat back and the Bastion now that we don't have those bans. Unless Tidal does decide to ban the cat, since we still have that on the table. And they do. Okay.
Smart. And again, this is why the teams are in the grand finals for a reason. They relinquished their map choice because they knew the only two game modes in particular kind of favor the jetpack cat. So at that point, just let them pick whatever map they want, and then you could just ban the jetpack cat right off the rip. So, but now Denji not going to have his Ramatra. Going to be, he calls for alarm. But again, we haven't seen a couple of the stronger tanks as well, like the Domina. His Sigma's really strong too, and you got to see his Zarya. His Zarya is top notch.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a peek yet or at least I haven't gotten to see the Zarya yet, or the Domina too. But yeah, from what I've seen so far from the Sigma, I mean, again, great rocks that we've seen. Graphitic flexes also very nice. If we do get to see more of the tank variety, though, it would be great. I mean, the Ramatra is not so limiting as you think. Not as limiting as the cat here, because as we mentioned, we were kind of going with the idea that we would see Jetpack Cat and Bastion teaming up again for the push map for Meltdown. But now that Tidal decided, you know what, we're just gonna get the cat out of the way, now they don't gotta worry about it. And we might see it 2-2. It depends how this next game will go.
And this is going to be scary because I think Tracers really thrive on any push map, but this one in particular, very hard to nail down a Tracer. And the way that Frost has been playing, the way that Frost and Twisted have been playing tonight, I think it's going to be kind of a Tracer duel. So we're going to have to see if these Tracers can keep lighting up the kill feeds. We saw a ton of pulse bombs happen back in Suravasa, so I think nothing's going to change on this map.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, again, how it's going to go into play, if we even see the Mercy back on Tidal X as well. If Twisted is able to defend the Mercy, able to kind of keep that Tracer at bay, if we see that happen once again here as we get things set up now. And I also like the nighttime. I feel like I don't see this one a lot.
Honestly, this actually is the first time I'm seeing it all together. I never get to see the nighttime version. I'll always see the daytime. So this is new to me.
I prefer this. It's easy on the eyes.
It is beautiful, I will say that. I like my push maps, but Esperanza has a nice spot, a special place in my heart. Epic Shock coming back in for tank for Tidal X. Genji getting subbed out. Felt a little scared with that Ramatra ban, so I don't blame him. Oh, you know what? Never mind. It's not even that. It's the Wrecking Ball. How could I forget? Tisk.
Wrecking Ball on push map is very brutal, I will say. Someone that has played against Wrecking Ball in push map all the time, it is so brutal. Like, I feel like I constantly lose where I'm going, where I'm at. Like, I just feel like just completely lost.
Oh my gosh, we're in. Oh snap, I blinked and I missed the timer. Oh. I'm still missing it.
Okay, there you
go. Map number 4 coming at you quick. Dabmaster going over to the Diva and Crow going over to the Lucio. And we were kind of thinking about, are we going to see that Mercy Pocket again? Timbo and Pirate back on their BS, the same stuff that we've been seeing before. Hey, you got to be a little careful. Not going to be able to keep their Mercy alive. They're going to be able to survive themselves, or are they? Yeah, and with Dabmaster going straight to the Mega, going to be hard to try to survive that. Iggy caught between a rock and a hard place. Ooh, Dabmaster got to be a little careful. Almost getting denected from Timbo. But again, I think Wrecking Ball on push maps go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely got a lot of damage on the board from both teams here. I mean, given that we do have the ball on Tidal X, we also have, Tracer on both teams here, and both Kirikos as well. Both teams are looking to really make a dent here, and Tidal X actually gonna bring out the Mercy as well.
Interesting, okay. We do get the res on the Twisted. It's unfortunate that they wind up losing Timbo in the process. The main person, the main proprietor of your Mercy damage is going to wind up falling. Dabmaster going to use Diva Bomb on site. Gonna be tucked in the spot, tucked in the corner. Luckily, Iggy is not able to get the headshot because that would have been a pick in favor of them. And yeah, you teleport away, your Mercy insta dies, and more push progress for Meltdown.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there. Kind of traded one to lose one there, unfortunately. But the rest of Tidal X seems like they're gonna gather back up, hopefully get a bit more stabilized grounding here to knock Meltdown out of the way. But we'll see how much progress can be made here. And Epic Shock's just not really able to get anything like much value out of the mines there.
Whoa!
Oh,
what just
man.
happened? Legalized nuclear bombs, man. I just got hit by, I think, a stray minefield, and Twisted able to capitalize on that quickly. Timbo as well, finding a pick themselves, and unfortunately the Kiriko duel going to the way of Tidal X, and finally stopping the bleeding. They were at 50 meters, so just shy of the checkpoint. But yeah, finally gonna get on the board in terms of some meters. And what's interesting too, I didn't even get to notice that Didn't You See Me is the one playing Tracer this time around, not Frost.
Yeah, so a little bit of a mix-up here from Meltdown's side. I did not know Didn't You See Me had a Tracer as well, so this is interesting to see how this plays out against Twisted here. And on the other end, I do worry a bit for Dabmaster, given that, you know, Twisted is playing on Tracer here. It could be very dangerous for Mech, pretty much, because now you're going to be in a much more vulnerable spot, taking, you know, unnecessary damage from all angles, pretty much, and it's going to be a little disastrous if you can't get to your team in time.
Yeah, Frost, unfortunately, trying to play aggressive, was trying to capitalize and get... You saw Timbo get so low from that ultimate weapon, but not able to lock down that kill. Winds up dying in the process. D.Va getting super low. They do have remech with the D.Va bomb, but I don't think they're going to use it. They are going to use it. And one of those things, Twisted had been winning the Tracer duel despite it being a completely different player. Doesn't matter who you throw at me. Hey, send up anybody. Sugar Braun, send him up next. Sugar Free, I'll take him too.
Yeah, and
But
Twisted, again, yeah, they both have their pulse bombs too, so this is gonna be dependent here who gets it, and Twisted rips it first and doesn't secure anyone on Meltdown's side here, and Tidal, again, going with the mines, but again, just no dice.
Yeah, not gonna find anything. They do get rid of Dabmaster off out of her mech, so I think that's gonna be a little bit easier to kind of get this payload starting to move along now. Baby D.Va's still a factor, so as long as they take care, they do take care of her. That is gonna be finally some bot progress, and with the overclock in addition, gonna make things even easier. Almost got the collide right there, lined up perfectly, but good trigger discipline from Timbo. Didn't want to start spamming shots all willy-nilly, but again, we're gonna have to try to see if we can get a checkpoint here. Still 5 minutes on the clock, so even if they wind up taking the lead, or hell, even the checkpoint, they still have to manage that big time bank.
Yeah, for sure. This is still way early in the game, and given that we only have 50 meters on both ends here, or close to it, it's still lots of time for both teams to make one mistake, and it could really be the demise here. But Timbo just going off here. Again, the Mercy Pocket, just lots of damage.
Yeah, see, I want to. That's all I'm looking at. That's all people pay attention to. They see the Timbo lighting up the kill feed, but who's there assisting the entire time, right? It's got to be Pyro. Pyro's actually been doing a ton of work in terms of support and just assisting in that. So I mean, sure, you can say Timbo, nice job, but when are you gonna say nice job, Mercy, right?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on, somebody. Oh man, Dabmaster falls out of mech, and this lead is starting to grow more and more. Yeah, no D.Va. I mean, you can try to have your Tracer contest for a little bit, but Timbo and Twisted have been doing a phenomenal job at managing this Tracer gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, Pirate is just so comfortable with leading the way that they are here, especially with that Valkyrie ready to go. Keeping eye, too, of the Tracer, very important to keep mark of it. Stay out of sights of that Tracer. Don't want to pulse bomb in your face and want to keep your team alive. And yeah, this is just really good control. Really nice gameplay that I like seeing here from Pirate.
Okay. And again, DPS have been leading the way for Tidal X. Just keep everybody in check. Dabmaster is going to be able to come into this next fight with the D.Va bomb. Again, they lose their Tracer early on. Nothing's changed. They still got to go into this with this huge deficit. 3 minutes left, so I think they're going to try to back up. No, they're just going to fight it. Kitsune Rush. For Kitsune Rush, they do wind up losing beat as well, so I guess that's not a fair trade. That's a good trade-off, right? You wind up baiting out a beat from Meltdown, and you know, having the Wrecking Ball burning up some more time on the clock makes things a little bit easier too. Yeah, Shock unfortunately not able to get out in time, but either way, it was already a reset at that point in time. 3 minutes on the clock. They're still working on about a 70-meter disadvantage. Twisted! What? How did he get that pick? Didn't you see he was literally in a defense matrix from D.Va and still gets rid of the Tracer? How?
I don't even want to know, but Dabmaster finally making a dent now into the support backline there of Tidal X, especially taking out Pirate. That's going to be a big difference maker for them, so they don't have to fight against, you know, that extra damage from Timbo here.
Whoa!
Still going to be a lot to come back from, though.
And, you know, I was kind of concerned. I thought we were going to see a checkpoint for Meltdown to be able to secure it. No post-bomb connection, but they do wind up isolating a lot of these targets. Oh, no! And Dabmaster, just as deadly, even outside of the mech, can still find a way to kill targets. And now with no support from Tidal X, all this damage will become permanent. Timbo winds up falling, and I think the tank is going to shortly follow suit. Yeah, Tracer is able to survive, but unfortunately Epic down to 1 HP. They're going to be able to get this checkpoint and start chipping into this slow lead. We are going to see a stop for a little bit for this checkpoint, so it gives time for Tidal to kind of, you know, regroup.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out now that it's Meltdown's turn to hopefully get the checkpoint. And I believe they do. It's kind of hard to tell. It's contested right now, but it's down to the wire here as they really try to get Twisted off the point. I mean, Tracer just really good at, like, stalling points pretty much, and stuck too. Yeah, that's gonna be it for Dabmaster. You can't really do much there when Tracer's just on you.
Okay, first time we're seeing Didn't You See Me actually taking care of Twisted on this Tracer, but that's where I was talking about this. The Tracers on these particular maps are so important. They're so vital for your survivability, because if you can kind of keep your Tracers on the point, you don't really have to pay attention too much. You can focus on taking care of high ground, actually controlling high ground. Oh gosh. Yeah, Frost not able to survive. PC Pirate immediately pulled out the Glock when they saw they were low. Oh my gosh.
Had to let them know.
Mercies can be deadly too. Oh boy, and the minefield's on the point. Yeah, forced to teleport out. And everybody all scattered upon the point. 40 seconds left for Meltdown. Are they going to try to regroup, or are they just going to let the minefields kind of dissipate before they, you know, start contesting the payload again? Oh,
Tidal
no,
losing
Frost.
Twisted though, so they have no Tracer and no volley either. I mean, who knows if Meltdown is able to turn things around now that Tidal is short of their tank now. Going to be some space taken up.
That was a clutch stun. I mean, he was literally staring at the face of staring down the barrel of a weapon, about to get blown to smithereens. Luckily hit that stun just in the nick of time. Oh no! Loses your Kiriko at the start of this fight. Final few seconds, Frost and Crow trying to catch some picks. Overclock, shut down. D.Va Bomb on site, final 10 meters. Just need to lock it down. They get rid of Pirates. And no ultimates on the side of Tidal, completely lost on this map. They were up 70 meters, and it meant absolutely nothing to Meltdown as they turn around the fight and sweep this map, taking the lead in the series 3-1.
Wow, I mean, that was very, very close between both teams here. And really, there was just so much momentum that Tidal X had in the very beginning, but because that the push maps give you so much time to really create the distance and really give a bit more fairness for all sides here. I mean, they really went down to the wire, used every bit of time that Meltdown had, and just right in overtime secured it at the last moment there. I mean, that is just insane. I mean, really, Frost and Didn't You See Me just coming in clutch right when they needed it to, and especially with the Kitsune, so many ults just coming out.
I mean, yeah, if you look at that score line, if you looked at the scoreboard and you asked me which team won, of course I'm going to pick the team that had all these nice looking KDs, great numbers in terms of damage and whatnot. No, you got to throw all that out the window. The objective is the primary focus. And that's where I think Tidal started to kind of, you know, lost sight of. At the start of that point, they had, 128 meters to 50, and they didn't even have checkpoints. So they had plenty of time to kind of regroup, but they kind of got a little scattered and could not group up in time to actually, get a proper team hold. And with Frost and Didn't You See Me getting these, early picks onto either a support or a DPS made things way harder to kind of fight as a team.
Yeah, for sure. It was really just down to the wire in that last moment, as you said. I mean, sure, you got all this distance, and sure, there was only 5 more minutes left on the clock there, but Meltdown surely took their time to slowly make their way towards the other side of the goal there, and making the difference there. So even throughout the Mercy Pocket, even through Timbo, having the Soldier, and with Twisted on Tracer, so many differences in between the teams there, but just unable to hold sight of the bot.
Yeah, it's a war of attrition when it comes to push. It doesn't matter how big of a lead you get. That overtime push can be deadly. So honestly, hopefully Tidal X is not mentally boomed going forward in this series. I think they're calling for a breather to hash it out with their coach. They can talk about it. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. We'll take a short little break, and when we get back, we'll go into and see if Tidal X can stay alive in the series or if Meltdown's going to walk away victorious. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here, ready for map number 5. It was a close, like I said, this series has been pretty spectacular to watch. It's been going neck and neck. The scoreline is definitely favoring Meltdown. They can close it out with one more map, but it's all on the backs of the players and how they decide to approach it. So, again, if you guys missed it, I'm Mr. Leapfrog. Join me tonight, Calavera. How's it going?
It's going. I mean, we've had a blast tonight looking at all these maps so far and these game plans from both teams. A lot of variety of characters. We've got to see a pretty good variety of tanks and also supports. While the DPS kind of remain the same, it's interesting still to see those duels as we have been seeing with the Tracers, the Emrays, Soldiers, and Widows as well. Just kind of seeing everything all at once here. And it's going to be down to the wire now for our final game potentially for Meltdown and if they can secure this. So I'm just as excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, that last map, I mean, like you said, you were just as surprised as I was. I mean, they had such an enormous lead going into that bottom half of the map, and they let it kind of snowball out of their control. So one of the golden opportunities that we had alluded to that they kind of screwed up on.
Well, I mean, I think as well when we see the ults that they had lined up in that time, and especially into the overtime, that's where it really matters because you have, again, that extra time to really change the game and turn it into your favor. And when you have such a strong ult like Kitsune Rush, that was literally the time to strike and to strike for gold there for Meltdown and really being able to pummel Tidal X and, you know, push that bot to the extra distance there. You know, it's the same thing as like finding the golden scar in Fortnite, you know? I mean, I get excited, I jump up and down when I see it because like I need it. I can't aim, so I need the golden scar.
Yeah, it's one of those light bulb moments for your team, and being able to stack up a ton of ultimates at that perfect time really did make a big difference. I mean, you saw them start to slowly chip away at it. We saw the Kitsune Rush being utilized while they were on the other half of their spawn, and they wind up fighting so long and kind of just staggering themselves for such an elongated amount of time that they were able to build up both to the Kitsune Rush and the beat again. I was like, oh yeah, great, we baited out beat, but then we got back to an overtime situation. Guess what? He had it back just in the nick of time, and Frost able to utilize his high noon. And one of those things, Frost only went 11-9 at the end of that map, but guess what? Those 11 kills were very vital to their success on the series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, we know how much time is given with these push maps. I believe the time is like 10 minutes you start with, and because that Tidal X has such a early advantage with pushing like over 120 meters like until 5 minutes, like halfway mark there, that was still a lot of time that Meltdown had to mess around with, see what would work for them, what's really clicking right now. And again, what really mattered and came to the wire there was being able to just really take your time with it and securing the bot, really knowing the right times to use your ult instead of, again, just kind of, oh, I want kills. Instead, you got to think about the positioning a bit more and really what kills really matter here. What do I really want? What's the goal?
All right. Now, realistically, their goal is to win the series. Just close it out. Right. Let's not take us extra innings. I know Smarty has been asking for an elongated series. I don't know if she's walking while she's watching the series again like we did last time, where she said she's going to walk and it turned into a marathon for her. But for Meltdown, they just want to secure it 4-1. Don't do any funny business. And what map can you do that on? I don't know. There's only one particular hybrid map I think everybody likes to pick.
Are we surprised? Not really.
Of course, gotta do it on Scrims Row, the map of all time. All comes down for Tidal X's series life. Again, this is grand finals. It's one opportunity for your team to be able to close it out. If you don't, if you make any mistakes, they will be detrimental to you. Not gonna have any other options other than to win.
Yeah, and into King's Row here as well. I'm interested in seeing what the lineups will be for the team compositions, as we also have an Ana ban and Soldier ban. And I'm a bit, interested in this Ana ban here. I don't think we've seen Ana on the Meltdown team, not too much, honestly. It's kind of been more of the, like, Alari and the BAP that we saw. I think a bit of Zenyatta, but not too much, I don't believe, on the Ana here.
Yeah, I think unless they saw Cox maybe getting subbed in for a second, they typically ran that when they were planning on running the Roadhog. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of Road Dogg being utilized here, but again, it could be just one of those picks that they're kind of just preparing for the worst. Denji probably going to be able to get sub back in here now that Ramacho's back in play. I think Ramacho works as one of the best tanks in for a hybrid map, especially King's Row, all these tight corners. Yeah, and you see Denji coming in, so what character kind of makes things harder for Ramacho to play and force him to block is the sleep dart. So getting rid of that makes things a little bit easier for Denji to play.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now, given that they also don't have the Ramacho brand this time around, but the Soldier. So Timbo gonna be going back on the Ashe, and Twisted actually gonna be going on the Genji too. I mean, we saw it briefly on the Havana map, I believe, but it's gonna be coming back into play now, as they said, actually, no, never mind, I guess we're going back to Tracer.
I was hoping, but I figured it was probably just a think about it swap, but honestly, I don't blame it. I think Twisted has been doing absurd work tonight on the on the Tracer, making things a lot harder for the supports to survive. So if he can keep doing that, I think he's definitely got a good start to keep his team's hope alive.
Yeah, and as we also see the composition now from Meltdown here, we're going to be having some strong DPS. I mean, the Widow and Emre here. We'll see if Didn't You See Me is able to get some early picks right off of a jumping shot maybe, or right at the top of the tower, and Crow as well coming back with the Jetpack Cat.
Interesting. We're seeing the Zarya come out from Dabmaster. So, and you can see Dabmaster going straight to the high ground.
Yeah.
Just disregarding everything else.
Yeah.
They just said, you can just have that low ground. You can have the statue. I'd rather take the high ground. And that's what you need to do. You got to take care of Timbo one way or another. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, Crow can't fly around and do whatever they want. Oh, headshot from Nock, taking care of the Tracer. A terrible start for the defense, because now you wind up letting both your DPS fall. And Did You See Me taking care of the last few targets as well. And that's going to be a team kill for Meltdown. And a complete 180 swap for them. And Layla alluded to this at the start about a potential Pharah mirror. And now we've got it.
Yeah, just gonna completely disregard the Tracer plan. We're gonna just go straight into flying in the air and having just an air battle pretty much, as we both have. I mean, a Jetpack Cat, Mercy, and Pharah on both teams here. We'll see who's able to get the job done, but Timbo switching over to the Cassidy now. I do like that. Probably a bit more easier to aim for the Pharah here, so easily gonna get that pick off of Didn't You See Me.
Yep, and you see Timbo also going over to the Cassidy. Oh man, you see Dabmaster getting really low, forced to use Suzu. But again, this is not a big deal because we've got plenty of room to play in, and yep, and you can see Noct taking care of Iggy, ultimate weapon straight onto Denji, and unfortunately, you can only block for so long, my friend.
Yeah, unable to save and turn things around just in time, and Frost doing so much work on this Emre, making so much headway, and really, I mean, Meltdown just looks like they're just chilling completely. I mean, they've got Nock just chilling, pushing cart there as they still make some headway, see if they can really keep this going in their favor here as they try to block this like checkpoint for Tidal, and they sneak in a kill by knocking down Iggy, but we see the instant res though.
So that's the only thing I'm concerned about, right? We have no defensive ultimates. When you're using Mercy, sure, you're getting extra damage on the table, but you're sacrificing a whole lot of defensive power. Because, I mean, what happens when you get grabbed? You can get a Suzu and maybe survive for one player, but the rest of your team's still going to fall. So they got to pay attention for this grab that's going to be coming up from Dabmaster. What are they going to do to try to survive the onslaught? He's still got a full charge Zarya you have to deal with in the meantime. And a full barrage as well. Just nothing but damage, and Denji can do nothing but watch as his team gets collapsed on.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I mean, just a lot of pressure that's happening from Meltdown's end when you have the Pharah, you have the Zarya, and especially Frost, once again, just putting in that extra oomph with the Emre and the grenades as well, just being thrown your way. There's so much pressure that they have, and again, you can see that they're not even on cart. There's just one support sitting on cart, and they have this much headway, this much time. They're really just taking their sweet time as they just rip apart Tidal X.
Okay, Timbo swapping over to the Widowmaker as well. Denji, see ya later. Getting completed off the map. Yeah, not even able to utilize any of their ultimates. Timbo does get a consolation prize taking care of Frost. Oh, and Twisted gets rid of the
Wow.
full charge Zarya. That is big because that was going to be a momentum swing for them, and now completely stopped. And you know what happens with the metronome? It swings one way, right back over to the other.
Yeah, somehow though, I mean, Meltdown is still pushing very slightly, still 4 minutes on the clock for them to make lots of movement here down to this last final checkpoint, and Noct ends up getting some more kills here as they get the Wu Yang, and previously I believe they also had gotten a Timbo, I believe, so yeah, just more damage.
A little premature on the Annihilation. Denji is able to survive for the time being, getting solo grabbed. But yeah, has to try to play in this Kitsune Rush, but at the same time, the opposing Kitsune Rush doing just as much damage. Twisted taking care of the opposing Pharah. Shield goes up, so they're going to be able to survive the Kitsune Rush. There's so much damage being pumped out. Frost not able to survive for too much longer. Immediately getting hit with the rockets, so the bubble forced to come out. And now Dadmaster has to regroup with this team because no bubbles makes it a little bit harder for Zarya to survive. Crow does take care of Twisted, but again, Widowmaker still on the field and still threatening. Even just a poison mine is deadly.
Yeah, I mean, the supports here on both ends, especially on Meltdown, are doing lots of work. I mean, we have Noct that's fully going DPS mode, and Crow getting a little bit of melee action as well, and they're going to continue to make headway. 3 minutes still with this lead. Do they hold it down? And they are able to secure it. Twisted just a little too late on the landing.
Yeah, getting booped away from Dinjasimi, and a 3-minute time bank essentially from Meltdown. Looking very, very healthy, but this is King's Row we're talking about, so this is not over in the slightest. I've seen maps go to 7, 8, 9 points before, so not impossible to see a double overtime push for some of these teams. Again, all they have to do is play with at least over a minute on the time bank, or I'm sorry, at least 1 second on the time bank, and we'll go to some extra innings.
Yeah, we shall see how it will go now for Tidal X. I mean, hopefully they're able to collect themselves and maybe go in strong for the attack side now, as we have now Kiriko and Lucio. So we're going to be swapping off of the Mercy from Pirate Walnut, which I do agree on. I think although we were seeing the damage boost, I don't think it was really doing much favors for DPS. I mean, Timbo wasn't getting lots of value. Twisted kind of here and there with the Pharah and the Tracer. I mean, just not really getting more value out of that Mercy, but it seems like actually we're gonna be switching back to the Mercy.
Yeah, I was.
I don't know what's happening.
I was kind of biting my tongue a little bit because I think we're still gonna see the Mercy pocket. Might see a change potentially on the characters in terms of DPS, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder for Timbo to kind of get picks on this map in particular, considering how how many tight corners there are and whatnot. I really do want to see a change in the support lineup, though, because, again, I already alluded to it. You know, how do you survive these ultimates? I mean, you're basically just praying that you get better ultimate economy and you just win the fights without needing ultimates altogether. So hopefully they can do that. And you know what? This is a good start. Crow winds up falling, so Didn't You See Me can't stay, flying up in the sky for too much longer. Otherwise, you get risk getting blown up by the Soldier Man.
Yeah, still just a little bit even though. I mean, Tidal X is sneaking their way through, especially Denji on that high ground, but not able to fight back and securing a headshot on Iggy though. I mean, Tidal still able to secure this point so far, unless Meltdown retaliates. We'll see here.
Hey, Denji doesn't have any bubbles, so he needs to play a little careful. He's got the one, but now it's just a matter of just running away from a full charge Zarya, but you're not going to be able to make it too far. Dadmaster able to stay just in a close enough position to get the recontest. And what a turnaround. I mean, it felt like Tidal was going to easily cap that point, and, all off the backs of Noct taking care of Izzy, turning the fight around again, just overextending. That's got to be a sting for sure, because they definitely had that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were able to get that first mark down, but I mean, able to get back into the point is going to be brutal here, especially with the Zarya bubbles. I mean, it's going to be some extra energy to add on, but with the Soldier, I mean, only able to get the Vendetta.
Okay. Keep it going. They got to find more picks than just that one. I mean, we got the one pick. The grab does come out from Dadmaster, and again, what I was talking about, not able to survive. Unfortunate. Denji does get a consolation prize again, and they do bait out the ultimate weapon. If they can take care of Frost, that would be big. Maybe Denji gonna try to snipe him out of the sky? Not gonna happen. Now almost got the nice little chip shot from him. But again, you get hit by some of these ultimates, there's no way you could survive it. You have one Suzu. That's all you get, and you gotta try to survive that.
Yeah,
it's hard, man.
They were so close with that, really down to the wire, and almost able to get the next notch of the point, but unfortunately just falling a bit too short there. So again, this is gonna be another push that they try to get in here. Pirate trying to go with the damage boost here, lots of assists, and definitely such a big ult coming out from Denji, finally hitting the nail on the coffin here for this point.
Alright, this is just 1 point. I mean, it was a very expensive one. They did have to use 2 crucial ultimates. But again, I think, you know, it goes in same the other way around too. Because, I mean, Crow is the same thing. You can't really do a whole lot with Jetpack Cat. You kind of just watch your team kind of collapse around you. Maybe you can yank one of them out of a precarious situation. But, you know, even in grabs, not something you can really do except just hope and pray somebody survives. So you're going to have to really lean onto the bubbles. Battery charge, but unfortunately Twisted goes into the room, and it's going to be the last thing he ever does. Iggy falls as well. Going to be a collapse onto the Zarya. Hopefully Denji can try to survive and keep the charge, but yeah, just going to walk into the Sundering Blade. Nothing you could do there. Twisted is going to swap over to the Mei to hopefully survive some of these those crucial ultimates. Just raw ice block, that works too. Again, Crow has been doing a great job at just both inputting a lot of damage, but then also, you know, keeping their team aware of their surroundings, scouting out every situation. Denji kind of telegraphing their push here and letting them know that they're going to push into the bottom bit. Frost popping an ultimate weapon at the same time with Noct popping the Kitsune Rush. Timbo trying to take care of the cat. Crow getting kind of low, forced to run away. Everybody getting so low onto this payload, but again, they've stopped this payload at the hallway, so nothing moving.
Yeah, this is a crucial turning point for Tidal X. Now that they have the Mei, though, as I see that, I mean, this really depends if they're able to make some headway now, really break through on this end here. But, I mean, still, I mean, with Nox assists here on these kunai knives, and also with the healing in between, I mean, it's really just making the extra mile with the extra damage that they're able to secure here. So, I mean, Tidal X is really just fighting for time here. They're fighting against time to really make a difference here, and they're catching up on some ults here, but hopefully we'll see if they're able to get some more progress on this payload.
Okay, Iggy, this time actually leading off on the kill feed. Normally Iggy was the one getting picked first, but thankfully this time around, actually able to get the pick, and you see immediately capitalizing, using a Kitsune Rush. But look, this is what I was talking about. See what Meltdown do? They immediately back up. They completely jump out of the fight. The wall means nothing if you can kind of get gripped up by the Space Cat and fly away. And again, now they can fight on the second corner with a little bit more manpower. They do have a couple big ultimates coming up. Denji does have grab again. Twisted working on their Blizzard, and we're going to use that first. Dabmaster going to get frozen, but they're not going to be able to Suzu off in time. Pirate winds up falling, but it's a consolation prize. Things are even Stevens in terms of picks, but again, nothing you can do except watch this full charge Zarya sit alone on this payload.
Unable to get value though from the ultimate weapon ult that time around, but as we see Timbo now rocking his own able to get a count, but again time at the very end of the ult, maybe looking to secure an extra one. Hopefully gonna try to secure Didn't You See Me, but again, just elusive, hiding in between the infrastructures. Just really good movement there.
Okay, that was a desperation grab I've ever seen one, but actually works out in his favor. Dabmaster kind of putting people to still on the payload while they're in the Kitsune Rush. Nothing they can do except watch as their entire team falls again. And with the final few seconds ticking out, that's going to do it. I see why they throw the grab out, because that was it. That was going to be the series win for them as Bomb Pop Ballers Team Meltdown walk away as your advanced tier division champion.
Yeah, I mean, just, again, really Meltdown able to just keep their time and have this patience, being able to play conservative and know when to really use their ults. And unfortunately for Tidal X, I mean, they just could not go the extra mile to really secure that checkpoint or beyond. I mean, they only got point, but yeah, just not able to really keep the goal in mind of payload.
Wow, dude, I was telling Layla just now, those 2 minutes flew by, dude. Meltdown did an excellent job in milking that clock out.
For sure, yeah. They went down to the wire and did not let it slip out of their hands whatsoever. So they are your champions of the advanced division. Congrats to Meltdown.
I mean, seriously, great work. I mean, that was insane how they were kind of just perfectly regrouping, hashing things out with their team. I think they really did an amazing job at just adjusting to Tidal X's gameplay, because it felt like Tidal X had a good foothold for a majority of that attack until they ran into that first choke, and then first choke was kind of lights out for them. They just held up so much of their time and just held them down to a single fight essentially.
Yeah, they really made Tidal X kind of play the waiting game, and really they just let things go down to the wire, taking their time. And again, we just saw so much time just kind of be dwindled down from Tidal X's side that I feel like they weren't maybe being like as patient or as consistent, maybe just having these spurts of like ults and stuff like that or momentum, but it was not consistent thoroughly. And with Meltdown being able to still hold in tightly with that teamwork and the ults that they were saving up and whatnot, just really came down to the wire.
Yeah, but obviously, big shout outs to Tidal X. They were trying to get their run back, but unfortunately they ran into the meat grinder when it comes to Meltdown. They just were able to make a proper adjustments and really hold on to this lead in the series and never relinquish it. Because I think if you gave them some extra maps, I think Tidal X definitely could have turned things around. So good on them to be able to walk away as your advanced division champion. But of course, Cal, we got to talk about the MVP of this series. And I think we would be in agreement when we were talking about supports really kind of helping out a ton. And of course, this match's MVP got to go to the way of Crow. Wow. Jetpack Cat for sure. I think that's Smarty's Cat, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe they were saying that was Smarty's Cat. But it was beautiful work, though. I mean, that is just a good description of a Jetpack Cat.
All right. That's awesome. Be able to get some representation out here. But seriously, we talked about it a whole lot throughout the entire series about how vital the supports were and how impactful they are. And I think Crow really made a stand, both when he was playing the Baptiste or when he was playing the Jetpack Cat, about making space for his team, being able to kind of line fights up for them. Because, I mean, the tanks were doing a ton, but without the information being relayed to the tank, it's hard to kind of get anything going. We saw a lot of success with the Bastion as well, and that's all about just carrying the Bastion around, making sure he gets into a proper position to actually blow people up. So seriously, a great performance from the entire team, and of course, Crow, our tonight's MVP.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, just kind of really doing a lot of the work for the team there. You got an extra pair of eyes in the sky, and that's very helpful. As you said already, extra intel for the team there to kind of be aware of what's coming up, who has ults or who's approaching point and stuff like that. So Crow, just excellent work once again with the Bastion as well, holding down many points with that. And congrats once again to the Advanced Division Meltdown securing it.
Yeah, they looked really, really solid. So make sure you guys join the Discord so you can guys find out more information about the series. See, if you want to get involved yourself, there's plenty of divisions. This is just the advances, the cream of the crop, the top of the top. So there's plenty of divisions for you guys to get involved in. We have, the rookie, the intermediate, and of course tonight's advanced divisions. This Sunday, we're actually going to have an award show happening at 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Smarties. So make sure you guys, if you guys are around for that, we can go give out the awards and talk about some other honorable mentions and notable players that were, talks of the town for this season.
Yeah, it sounds like exciting stuff. So glad to hear there will also be an award ceremony. I mean, again, just a very long, thorough season. So I'm very glad to be part of it. I know it's kind of in the midst, kind of just thrown out of nowhere. But I'm excited to join the next one. I had a lot of fun being able to spectate all the gameplay, the different characters, variety of players, and whatnot. So I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, hopefully you get to see you guys on Sunday. I hope we get to see you guys again for next season. Well, obviously we're talking about SPCS season number 5, series number 5 potentially. I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about it. But again, I'm excited to partake in this entire journey. It's been a one hell of a season, and I'm glad to be able to cast and commentate all these matches throughout the entire season with not only you, Cal, but with all the other fellow casters. It's been a ton of fun, so I will say this was a nice little bow to wrap up this season.
For sure.
All right, but with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here tonight. Again, big congratulations to Bomb Pop Ballers, Team Meltdown, for securing the Advanced Division. Big congrats to them. And with that being said, we'll bid you all a farewell and have a good night.